Let me speak about parental alienation. It's a huge topic. It's like, I had no idea how big it is. I had no idea. I'm now in so many Facebook groups and see stories of fathers in the US, in Great Britain, in Germany, basically all Western nations. I think we have a huge issue here. You know, and it stems from this. Yeah, I think it finds its roots in this weird idea that, I don't know, a mother is all a child needs. Sorry, I'm now speaking. Maybe there's also cases where a dad does the same thing, but it's marginal, I would argue. So, we always speak about the women. How about we just have one space in which we don't? It's like government pays, they don't have to work. Government pays, at least in Germany, England as well. You have to pay child support almost immediately. You have to pay alimony almost immediately. But nobody looks at the child. Nobody looks at what it does with a child when fear is mistaken for love and control is mistaken for protection. No matter what case you look at, you always hear, things like, I have to protect the child and it's for the child's well-being and da-da-da-da-da. And rarely can they utter what the actual problem is, what you have done. I've done nothing. The court can't tell me what I've done. The child services can't tell me what I've done. Nobody can tell me what I've done. You know why? Because I've always been a good father. Always. Am I without fail? No, none of us are. But I know that I've always loved my child and always did everything to the best of my abilities. And that's why my child still loves me and is missing me. She says it time and time again. Can you pick me up from kindergarten again, Daddy? Can you come to my birthday? Can you see me at my play? And you know what a child utters when it says that? Hope. Hope to see the other parent. Because the bond is strong, the love is strong. But what happens to a human being, especially that age? We're speaking 5, 6 years old, when the hope is destroyed time and time again. And, at some point, the other parent, the controlling parent, almost inevitably will start lying about the other parent. I see that already, My daughter was supposed to have a holiday with me for 3 weeks. Booked the flights, everything. Paid for the flights. It's all discussed. And then, pretty much last minute, the agreement was withdrawn. And my daughter already knew about the vacation, was looking forward to it. We discussed all that we wanted to do. She wanted to see dolphins here in Portugal. And the other parent had nothing better to do than saying that other people prohibited her from allowing it, which is not true. It's not true. Nobody could prohibit her. Nobody could talk her into it. And it's weird, as a man, as a father, it's weird. You have custody. You have shared custody, 50-50, but suddenly one person is making all the decisions. And you think custody is protecting you from anything. No. Suddenly one parent is making all the decisions. And nobody seems to have a problem with that. Even if you say, "What have I done?" And I quote the child services here. I asked them, "What have I done? What is it that you accuse me of?" And they said to me, quote, "You have to know that yourself." Okay, wow. And I told them, it's like, I don't know. You need to help me. Please, help me. Help me see. And the last word from them now was, in that very conversation, and I quote again, "You have to figure that out yourself." Seems like I have to figure out what they actually accuse me of. The child, my daughter, has to figure out why all this is happening, why her hopes are crushed time and time again. All the damage that happens in a human being, what it means for later in life, the ability to form relationships, trust. It's so devastating. It's so devastating. But those controlling parents, it's disgusting. They say they do it for the child, but they really do it for themselves. Often. So in my case, well, there's other court cases involved, right? There's other court cases, mostly about money. And so you use a child as leverage. But these cases, none of them are connected. They're all individual cases, so nothing has anything to do with one another, even though the people are the same. And so these children are used as leverage, are controlled as leverage, and their little souls get crushed out of fear, out of controlling the narrative, out of the inability to take responsibility for their own actions. It is disgusting, and sadly enough, especially in the Western world, the train is still going towards women's rights, and I think we're damaging an entire generation because of it. We should be looking at the children, but we're not. We take a few cases of where a father actually abused someone, or, great. Then, look at it individually and act accordingly. But, acting hastily, like kind of a pre-crime situation in which there's no evidence needed in order to, start protecting, which is basically another word of shielding, controlling, then we harm the children. Yes, we also harm the other parent. I'm honest. It's hard for me. It's really hard. I'm a strong individual, but this is getting to my very core. I can tell you, I miss my daughter big time. It's like I made this huge decision to go to Portugal in order to have a job again. If I would have known that it would mean that I couldn't speak to my daughter anymore, or don't see my daughter anymore, you think I would have done that? Never. And now I'm stuck. Now I have responsibilities. Now I have to make it a success. Also, in general, but also in order to even have the ability to be there for my daughter. Whilst the other side is basically just doing nothing. Nothing. Not working, nothing. You know, accusations, I have to defend myself, and there's a little child in the middle, having hope, asking us to get along. And I extend my hand. Even, you know, I'm a Christian. That means I forgive. Even my worst enemies. And yeah, you could argue, and it's like, you know, somebody that does this to you is your worst enemy. But I'm a Christian. I forgive. So my hand is extended. But, you know, the system acts very slowly. We're doing this evaluation right now, and, you know, if that goes wrong, well, then I don't know. It's not easy. You can never criticize the other parent. I get criticized all the time, but I have to do this without criticizing. It's a bit like, you know, running a flat tire, but you can't blame the nail. No. The nail has nothing to do with it. You know? You can talk about the air, how it escaped, and what it does to the suspension, and all those things, but don't you mention the nail. And yeah, and in all this, it's so sad that we forget those little children that want nothing but a loving relationship with both of their parents. And I would never in a lifetime, ever block communication or interaction between the mother and my daughter. Never. Because it would be wrong. But at the same time, I have to endure that very thing. And it's said, it's done to protect the child. To protect the child from a father who wrote it. In the best interest of the child, even though nobody can name the best interest. Even though nobody listens to what the child is saying, maybe the child already knows its best interest very well. You know, no child wants to go to an abusing parent. It is crazy what we allow. It is crazy what we allow, and it's crazy what this society has come to. I can only hope that we come to our senses. But with current Western politics, I don't see that happening. There's nothing but a great divide. I hope that we reinstate Christian values and the West remembers what our roots are and who we want to be as people. Because right now we're not doing a great job.